In 1953, an American professor named Charles Hampton stirred the intellectual world with a daring claim. Long before the rise of humanity, Earth was home to a thriving civilization. At first, this notion seemed preposterous, but later, the CIA quietly classified parts of Hampton's work. Why would intelligence agencies hide something that appeared to lack common sense? Were they perhaps fearful that Hampton's speculations might turn out to be founded in truth? Consider this. Our planet has been spinning for over 4.5 billion years, while the Homo sapiens species has only graced the Earth for roughly 300,000 years. Is it so implausible to entertain the notion that Earth may have hosted other intelligent inhabitants during its vast history? Recent discoveries in various scientific fields might challenge everything you thought you knew. Let's embark on a journey through time, exploring the intelligence of dinosaurs, the resilience of mushrooms in a nuclear age, and most intriguingly, the possibility of a flourishing civilization on Earth long before humanity's ascent. In the annals of science, there are numerous mysteries that researchers often prefer to address with cautious generality. One such enigma revolves around the construction of ancient pyramids. Historians typically assert that the people of those times were only engaged in primitive gatherings. But who then crafted these colossal structures? Consider the Pyramid of Chichen Itza in Mexico, the tomb of Pharaoh Jose in Egypt, and the sanctuary of Kokher in Cambodia. Astonishingly, all these monuments share a common blueprint, despite being built in entirely different epochs. The precision of their construction, with stones fitting so seamlessly that not even a human hair could slip between the gaps, raises serious questions about the entirety of human history. Even more baffling, similar stone structures have surfaced near the city of Cusco in Peru, as well as in Greece, Japan, and even on the remote Easter Island. Many of these locations are separated by vast oceans, suggesting that they were the handiwork of a culture far more advanced than the people of their respective eras. Naturally, such a theory might initially sound like a fantastical tale, but could it be that we haven't explored the depths of our planet's history enough to uncover traces of an ancient civilization? Jason Wright, a prominent astronomer at Pennsylvania State University, shares this view. Some of history's most enigmatic feats are believed to be the remarkable technological achievements of the Indus Valley civilization. In 1829, within the boundaries of modern-day Pakistan, an explorer named Charles Mason stumbled upon the remains of Harappa, a city that would leave even modern architects in awe. Its urban planning was nothing short of extraordinary, with streets aligned precisely along the cardinal directions. But what was the purpose behind such meticulous urban design? Archaeological findings suggest that many inhabitants of this prehistoric city had their private pools, constructed with remarkable technological sophistication. The bottoms of these pools were sealed with resin to ensure they remained watertight, while a sophisticated drainage system efficiently carried away wastewater. To put this in context, while other civilizations of the time struggled to construct even basic shelters, the people of the Indus Valley civilization appeared to possess knowledge of complex iron tools. Astonishingly, this audacious theory was corroborated in 1936 during excavations in Saqqara, Egypt. Archaeologists unearthed enormous granite boxes used for burial ceremonies. Egyptologists dated these boxes to the 18th dynasty, a period during which Egyptians scarcely used metal tools. So, how did they craft these granite boxes with perfectly straight angles and remarkably smooth, thin walls? Furthermore, some of these boxes bore mysterious marks and grooves reminiscent of modern drill patterns. Could it be that a more advanced civilization catalyzed the development of ancient Egyptian society with mechanized equipment? If so, why is there so little substantial evidence of this progressive culture? Astrophysicist Adam Frank and climatologist Gavin Schmidt have pondered this very question. In 2017, they attempted to envision what would remain of our own civilization if it vanished overnight. The answer seemed clear. Our colossal cities would endure, shrouded in moss but still standing. If a similar civilization existed before us, we would undoubtedly have discovered its remnants by now. But despite centuries of excavation, we have yet to unearth prehistoric skyscrapers. Does this mean they never existed? Or is reality more complex than it appears? Frank and Schmidt suggest that archaeology may hold the key to discovering the most recent evidence of advanced civilizations. As time passes, traces descend deeper underground and eventually turn to dust. Even the remnants of Neanderthals, who lived tens of thousands of years ago, are scarce. But what if an entire society thrived on our planet long before that? You might be inclined to mention plastic, which takes centuries to decompose. If an advanced civilization predates ours, they would undoubtedly have left behind such waste. However, researcher Alan Wiseman posits in his book, The World Without Us, that if humans ceased all activity today, a significant portion of our plastic waste would degrade within 20,000 years, thanks to ultraviolet radiation and bacteria. Even if a global catastrophe wiped out a previous civilization, traces of their existence would vanish even faster. However, some survivors might have resettled in other regions, passing down their knowledge to different cultures. This could explain the astonishing achievements of the ancient Egyptian and Indus Valley civilizations. Yet less than 3% of Earth's surface is currently inhabited, making it exceedingly challenging to locate traces of such a civilization, even if they left behind waste similar to plastic. But why do we assume that ancient beings resembled us? 4.5 billion years ago, when Earth was still in its infancy, the climate was radically different from today. Our planet endured constant bombardment by meteorites and comets, with an atmosphere primarily composed of water vapor, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and methane. Under such extreme conditions, it's improbable that any known species, including us, could have survived. Max Bernstein, the head of the Science Mission Directorate at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C., entertains the idea that a civilization in such a climate might have looked entirely different. Perhaps they resembled sentient crystals, a network of beings that functioned without the need for DNA reproduction or metabolism. The core criteria for life might have simply been the ability to accumulate energy and transmit information from one generation to the next. In this context, billions of years ago, certain minerals could have given rise to a civilization without DNA. When a crystal grows, new atoms adhere to its surface in a specific sequence. If a small crystalline sheet breaks off, it retains these properties, akin to the birth of a new organism. Furthermore, no traces would remain after such a civilization, making it nearly impossible to find evidence today. Should we then abandon the search altogether, or do humans still have a chance to discover their prehistoric predecessors? Adam Frank and Gavin Schmidt argue that we should continue our quest for indirect evidence. While physical proof may be fleeting, there might be an indirect impact on our planet. Any industrial civilization, even one that evolved millions of years ago, would have relied extensively on fossil fuels for energy, just as we do today. To construct advanced structures like solar panels or waste-free hydroelectric power plants, they would have needed substantial energy sources, such as oil, coal, or large quantities of wood. The energy-intensive industrial processes, along with their waste, would inevitably have left physiochemical traces deep within the earth. In other words, we shouldn't be seeking the ruins of prehistoric factories, but rather the emissions produced by such industrial activity. This is akin to searching for fingerprints in a crime investigation. We should first gather as much information as possible and then seek the culprits. For instance, we should pay close attention to significant accumulations of radioactive elements in unusual places. Such elements are unlikely to end up there naturally. Strangely enough, this brings us back to the mysterious Indus Valley civilization. During excavations in Rajasthan, northwest India, archaeologists stumbled upon a layer of radioactive ash. This was not the end of the astonishing discoveries. In 1977, researcher David Davenport excavated the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro, a major city of the Indus Valley civilization. There, scientists uncovered a pit with a diameter of 50 meters, filled with stones that had melted and transformed into glass-like substances. Such a phenomenon can only occur at extremely high temperatures, around 1500 degrees Celsius, reminiscent of a nuclear explosion. This raises the intriguing possibility that a nuclear catastrophe occurred in the Indus Valley civilization long before our era. Even more intriguingly, ancient legends seem to corroborate these audacious speculations. The Mahabharata, a revered epic in Indian literature, describes a cataclysmic explosion as bright as 10,000 suns capable of devastating entire nations. It vividly portrays the aftermath of such an explosion, with survivors losing their hair and nails, and the land and food becoming contaminated, eerily similar to the consequences of the nuclear catastrophe in Hiroshima. But even if the inhabitants of the Indus Valley civilization possessed the technology to create nuclear weapons as early as the 3rd millennium BC, they were still humans. However, the history of our planet has witnessed other periods that hint at intelligent intervention. Today, we grapple with global warming, driven by human activity. Yet 56 million years ago, Earth experienced a similar temperature spike, with pole temperatures reaching a balmy 20 degrees Celsius. This wasn't due to excessive industrial activity, but rather an explosion in the population of Cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae. How these microorganisms managed to influence the climate remains a mystery. Could they be byproducts of a far more advanced society? This notion of a crystalline civilization may seem outlandish to many scientists, but it's a concept that some have not dismissed entirely. After all, fungi, which have been on Earth for millions of years, have demonstrated remarkable intelligence. In an astonishing experiment, Japanese biologist Toshiyuki Nakaji placed a mold sample at the entrance of a maze designed to test the intelligence and memory of mice. At the opposite end of the maze, he left a sugar cube. In just a few hours, the mold exhibited an uncanny ability to sense the sugar scent and began sending its threads through the maze, searching for it. The mold's mycelium branched out at intersections and, when faced with dead ends, simply turned back. Before long, the mold had enveloped the sugar. This behavior suggested an intelligence surpassing that of some animals. It's essential to remember that Earth hosts an estimated 160,000 fungal strains, each having evolved silently in extreme conditions for millions of years. Some fungi even thrive in highly radioactive environments, feeding on nuclear waste while cleansing the surroundings. If we consider this, it's entirely plausible that an ancient civilization of intelligent fungi could have existed on Earth. What we commonly refer to as a mushroom is merely the tip of the iceberg. The true marvel lies within the mycelium, a network of delicate filaments that spans our planet's soil. Within just 10 cubic centimeters of soil, you can find a staggering 8 kilometers of fungal threads. These mushrooms are like the fingertips of a vast underground network, capable of altering their environment much like complex human technologies. Mycelium doesn't rely on a central server. Each filament operates independently, transmitting information throughout the network in all directions. Strangely enough, this structure somewhat resembles the modern internet. If an advanced fungal civilization once existed, it might have thrived while covering its tracks efficiently. In summary, while the search for concrete evidence of ancient civilizations may prove elusive, the possibility of their existence continues to tantalize the curious minds of scientists. Whether they were crystal beings, advanced fungi, or even humanoid reptiles, the idea that we may not be alone in Earth's rich history remains a thought-provoking and humbling notion. It challenges our assumptions about what it means to be intelligent and suggests that the tapestry of life on this planet may be far more intricate than we ever imagined. So as we explore the mysteries of our world and universe, let's remain open to the possibility that we share our cosmic journey with other intelligent beings hidden in the depths of time and memory.